Do you love South Africa or are you leaving? Have you decided that South Africa is a crap place for you and you're off overseas? You've had enough. Well, let me tell you something. I love South Africa and I'm staying. And I don't know if you've seen the posts on social media. I am staying. And there's a bloody good reason for it. Because it is a fantastic country when you get down to the nitty-gritties of South Africa. Yes, we've had a few problems. And you know, I've seen a few interesting YouTube videos regarding some of the towns in South Africa. And you know what surprised me the most is we're not looking for potholes anymore. We're actually looking for tar coming out of the roads. Particularly in the Northwest province and the Northern province and those areas. Wow, they really look bad. But general maintenance and poor governance and that sort of thing has caused this issue over time. But I think we'll hit a point where things will start to get better. And I'm actually really quite positive about the government of national unity and the way we're going forward. As I said in my last video, I'm really happy that the majority of us in the middle want a better South Africa and a more united South Africa, not the outer edges on the left. You know, all the racists there and all the racists there, they can stick to themselves. And if we all stand together, we can make a much better country for ourselves. And we can all live together and we can all help each other. You know, I've had so many friends and I've known so many people that have packed their bags and gone overseas. And within a year or two, not even that, sometimes 6 months, they just want to come home. They're missing home so badly. Now, could that just be being homesick? Or could it just be because you've left all your friends behind? Or just because you don't fit in where you've gone? Or is it because it's just not that much different overseas? You know, I've seen a few shows on particularly towns in the UK that look really, really bad. People sleeping in tents on the roads, people struggling, people suffering, people without jobs. And in a country where they've got a system, a social system that actually supports people when they don't have an income, you've got to be quite surprised and you've got to think for yourself, hey, how does that happen? You know, how can these people actually be living on the streets if they've got a dole system? Well, I think in those countries, if you want to be on the dole and if you want a council house and that sort of thing, besides having to be part of the system and having to have worked in the country, they expect you to have applied for a job. They expect you to not be on drugs, not be a criminal, and not be an alcoholic. So those kind of people will end up in the streets no matter what. And then in the US, it's I don't know, I think it's even worse. You don't have a social system as such, and if you land up on the street, you're gonna land up under a bridge in a tent. And now I've seen a few things on that as well. I mean, I didn't go there, but I watched it, and there's a lot of people living in tents there as well, losing their jobs, unemployed, struggling and suffering. Now, I recently had a friend that went overseas to the UK on a job with a job visa, and then they lost the job, or they turned up and they closed the doors. Now, the government says, well, you've got to be out next week because your work visa's going to expire. You don't have a job anymore. Go home. Now, you haven't got any money. You can't afford the air ticket. You didn't get paid because the company closed, so you're sitting without a cent. Wow, that's a horrible scenario to be in, and they've just had a child. So all I say, guys, is the grass is not always greener on the other side. The other thing I see people running away for is they run away for the pounds and the dollars. Off they go in the euros, etc. And it seems like big money, because when you convert it back into our rands, I mean, a few dollars is like millions of rands. I'm just kidding, it's not that bad, but okay, it's 18 to 1, guys. 18 and 18.2. It's a lot of money when you take $1,000 and $1,000 is effectively 18,000 rand. That's a lot of money, okay? But in the US, it's not a lot of money. In the US, it's not great. So people go over, say, to the UK, and it's 22 to 1 or something to that effect, and they think they're now going to earn in pounds, and they get a job offer over there for, say, £4,000 a month or £3,000 a month, and they calculate it back into rands, and they think, wow, that's a decent salary. I'm going to be making 150,000 rand a month. That sounds fair. I'm going to be perfectly happy in the UK, and in fact, I'm going to save some and bring it back to South Africa. But when you get there and you find out how much things cost, you find out, well, that's not actually going to work out at all. You can't even survive on the £4,000 that they're giving you. And there, it also depends what city you live in. I mean, if you live in London, you know, a one-bedroom apartment costs you £1 million. Then you have to go and live in Peterborough, which is full of dirt and rubbish lying on the streets and criminals, etc. And it doesn't work. Or you have to live out of town in a village and go and work in the town. It's not greener on the other side. It's not brighter on the other side. And it's not easier on the other side. Which is why so many people leave and then they want to come home to our sunny South Africa. And I mean, that's another thing, especially in Cape Town. We never see 0 degrees. I know you do up in the northwest and Pretoria and that sort of thing. You see 0 degrees. That's about the worst of it. But down here, our minimums, like I think the least we had this winter was 3. So yeah, it's really not that bad here. So we're always warm. Our average temperature through the year must be 24, 25 degrees. We see a bit of wind here and there and whatnot, but the weather is amazing in this country. We have a great country with great people. Why should we give it up? Why should we leave it behind? Let's just fix it. Let's just make it better. Let's just make it a great place to live. And if you can follow the example of Cape Town, or the Cape Province, where the roads are fixed and the traffic lights are working and everything is improving, and they're trying to put the money back into the system and govern like the province properly, then if the whole country can do that, we would have an absolutely amazing, fantastic country. And the only other thing we have to learn to do is to sort of sort our problems out and work together. Wouldn't be that difficult then. Anyway, that's my rant for this week. Just thought I'd have a quick rant on everyone that's leaving South Africa. Why are you leaving, guys? Come home, come back. It's fantastic here. It's not that bad. Yeah, we have our crime. Don't tell me there's no crime overseas. Come on, there must be. There has to be crime overseas. Lots of it, to be quite honest with you. So it's not going to be much better there than it is here. But there are some dodgy towns here. Believe me, up north it's become a bit dodgy. But down here in the Cape, not too bad. We're okay still. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to watch next week's video, and don't forget to watch the other videos on this channel. Cheers, thanks, and bye.